everybody, it's me, Laura, and today we're going to do the Houndstooth cane in polymer clay. Woohoo! So this is really neat, guys. And the reason why I say that is because I'm going to get more than one combination here. Now, just so you know, there's a lot of combinations when I go to create this particular cane. But, to start off with, I just took some white clay like I have here. I rolled it up into a log, and then I used my my acrylic roller to make it more of a square log. Now when I get this done, I'm going to have two of these, and then I'm going to make two that are black as well. So I'm going to have 4 different canes. You got the square in white and then the square in black. And then to make sure that they are all, and this is like 1.25 inches in diameter on all of these, to make sure that these are all the right size, you don't necessarily have to use your ruler. Instead, you could just go ahead and place them right on top of each other and then trim them up all together even if you wanted to. But this way then you'll have all the same size. So it really does take the ruler out of this whole thing. Now you also probably seeing here that I'm trimming up the sides on each of these cubes, and I'm just doing that because I want to. You don't necessarily need to, it's just something I've gotten into a habit of doing. But I will have to say, in that regard, where I do trim up the sides on each of these cubes, it does help when it comes to, if I want to make sure I have my lines just so running throughout each of these cubes when I go to cut down, that they'll be absolutely as precise as I can possibly get it. So keep that in mind when you go in and you decide, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just, put it together and without even trimming it up the sides. Okay, so now we have a black cube and a white one, and we're going to cut diagonally on both of these. And we're going to cut each of those diagonals in half. So you're going to have 4 sections on the black cube and 4 sections on the white cube. Once you have those all cut and you have 4 sections of each, what you're going to do is you're going to split those pieces apart from each other. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take one black and one white, and I like to start from the longer parts, and we're going to place them together. Once you have that, you're going to put the white against the black, and then the black against the white, so every other black, white, and then do that with the other pieces that are left over as well. Once you have these 2 canes, or I should say, the striped canes in a diagonal like this, put together, put the 2 black pieces point to point, okay? You could go white, but we're going to do black for right now. So we're going to make that black point in the center, then take the other cube, put the black right there at the bottom, and then the white at the top there. And this is the original Houndstooth cane. This is what it will look like at its very largest. So from here, it's just a reduction process. So I'm squeezing evenly as much as possible on all 4 sides, and then I'm bringing in my acrylic roller, and I'm also using even pressure on all 4 sides, lengthening out this cane so that we get a much longer piece to work with. And the reason for that is because I want to go ahead and take this cane and we're going to cut it into 16 different sections. So you're going to have 16 pieces of this cane to play with. Now, I found that when I did this reduction, I didn't have quite enough. I wanted a little bit more. So you might have to go and redo this process yet again. When you do, and you're going to be like, well, how do I make sure each section is the same? Use the same, rule of thumb that I did at the very beginning, where I placed those little square cubes on top of each other, except in this case, you're going to be placing the houndstooth right next to each other or on top of each other again to make sure they're all the same size. Okay, so to try and get the combinations we're going to need, I am going to go ahead here and cut 16 pieces off of one of these sections. And the reason why I do this is because instead of wasting a bunch of cane by putting it together and not being really happy with it, I mean, you can go with the standard pattern, and I'll show that standard pattern of the houndstooth, but there are so many more patterns to work with. So from here, right here, I took all of those particular slices and I baked them. So this is going to get baked at your standard settings, whatever the package says. And with each of these slices, then I can change where the direction is that they'll be pointing, and you'll get different combinations, different patterns. Oh, you guys are going to have so much fun with this thing. Just don't have a mind blow like I did. I was like, yeah, there was like nothing left in my brain after I went through all of this. So enjoy, have some fun with it. I think you're going to really appreciate the idea of cutting off those slices and baking them, because it makes such a difference in trying to figure out what patterns you're going to get, what combinations you get. All right, so in this section right here, I'm going to be showing you just different patterns I found in using the black houndstooth cane. And there are so many. I think this is one of those things where I could do this the rest of my life and still not get all the combinations necessary. So, so go and have fun with this, because I definitely did, and there's some really cool patterns I found. But I also know that I did not discover all of them. So if you find some patterns, and I know you're going to, if you want to share them right here on my video, I would love that. Absolutely. All right, so here I put a bunch of the patterns together so you guys could kind of look at them all in one grouping. This way you can kind of get an idea. If you liked one of these, you could pick out which one it is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create the houndstooth yet again. You could tell that my cubes here are a lot smaller, and I just wanted to take less clay and kind of give you an example of how you don't have to have it at a particular size to do this. You can have it at a much smaller size and still get away with it. So right here, again, I took two of the cubes, I cut them into the different sections. I'm placing those back together, and we're going to just do the black, white on two of them. Then we're going to go ahead and make this just a little bit different. So once I have all these the black, white part done here with each of my little striped cubes, I'm going to take the points, and instead of the black, we're going to go with the white in the center. So once I do that, I'm going to place my white cube on the bottom, black on the top, and then we're going to reduce this just like we did the last one. So as you can see here, we've got a white tooth instead of a black one. We'll go ahead and reduce this cane, and then we'll go ahead and cut 16 slices from this particular cane. Once I have those slices, I'll bake them, and then we'll find out the different combinations that we can get with the white tooth. All right, so right here we have our white tooth houndstooth cane, and we've created our original pattern. And from here, I'm just going to start creating more and more different pattern combinations to kind of see what I can get. So enjoy this. Okay, again, I took a grouping of these white tooth canes and put them together. So you guys, if you liked one in particular, you can kind of see which one it might be. Now we're going to finally create one of these patterns that I found in polymer clay. And we're not going to do the standard, houndstooth. We're not going to do that. I want to try one of the other patterns. So originally here I had this cane. It was like 3/4 of an inch in diameter, and I only had 4 of them. So I needed to make another 3 sections out of each of these canes. So I had to reduce down a little bit more so I could cut this into 4. Once I have that, then we can play around and put the combination together that I really truly love. Use those 16 cane slices that we had cut earlier. Use those to make sure you get the pattern you really want. It really does help a lot. And remember, if you're worried about the canes being the same size, place them next to each other. You'll be able to tell right off if they're just a little bit too much. If one is a little bit bigger than the other, then reduce it down slightly just so you can match it up with the others. Okay, so I was thinking about this and I thought, oh, I didn't do that, did I? No. I went and made 8 of these canes. So the reason why was because I thought if I could get the one side together and it's going to mirror the other, why go ahead and make 16? So right here, I'm going to have just 2 rows, and then we're going to cut this in half, and you're going to see the combination I get. Now you need to know here that this does not apply to every single pattern you get with the houndstooth. What happened here was that this was a, how do I put this? It was a mandala, or if you want to, kind of a kaleidoscope slash Natasha kind of thing. Because really what I'm doing here is I'm going to be mirroring the image. So you don't have to make all 16, you could just mirror it. So really all I had to do was cut it in half, and I'd have the pattern that I needed. From here, I'm going to go ahead and cut off some slices on this cane, and we're going to put them together, and this way then you're going to see this sheet of pattern come about using my houndstooth cane. All right, so I wasn't going to throw this in, but I thought, why not? Just do it. I had taken all 16 slices from the black tooth and all 16 from the white tooth, and I just decided you guys needed to see what it would look like side by side in opposition, same pattern. So this gives you an idea then of what you can expect, and it changes it up, it changes the dynamic. So I only did that with a few of these patterns here, but I encourage you to take your 16 tiles in both your black tooth and your white tooth and have some fun. Okay, so here are some of the results from my Houndstooth cane that I did today. Please use this video for study and reference, and if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I'm always wondering what you're thinking. Otherwise, I am sending out my biggest hugs to each of you, and I hope you have a fantastic day.